sir. Thank you. In context of the short time we have, my objective would be to share with you as much possible as per the pointers shared with me. So first of all, thank you very much for inviting me, and I hope I will be able to share with you some of the things which you will be able to take forward. So my this talk or short talk would be more practical. So I hope that you would be able to learn and take it forward. So the first thing which I would like to share is basically why entrepreneurship. That's the basic question people ask me also, and maybe it helps you also because you might be 90% of you might be thinking to join a corporate world, which is fine, which is all good, but it just gives you a perspective that why not entrepreneurship. So one of the reasons why I came towards entrepreneurship is that entrepreneurship gives you a larger canvas. Now, this may not be clear when you start a corporate life, but once you grow and once you get to a senior management level, whether you're in marketing or you're in finance, then you start thinking that, yeah, how can I basically influence a greater level, you could say a full organization, how I can increase the influence. So people sometimes basically go from marketing directors to maybe regional directors, can go global directors. This is one route. I would say that one of the other option is to be a CEO overnight. You know, the day you start entrepreneurship, you are the captain of the ship. So probably you can't get a bigger jump anywhere else. So this is my one of the perspective that why entrepreneurship. It gives you a bigger canvas to play. It depends on your ambition. It depends on your dreams. But this is how I see it. Secondly, I mean, whether you are a junior marketer, a junior account guy, or you are basically a director, your remuneration is linked and basically has a ceiling. So nobody will, you may be, your company may be earning 10 million in profit, but they will not give you 10 million. They will give you what your salary is. So every 30th of the month, you will get your agreed salary and probably a good bonus if you are working as a senior person. So the second inspiration is why a ceiling, why a person has to make money which is basically fixed. So why not a multiplier? So why should I earn 500,000 rupees? Let's say if you're a good manager, maybe you're earning 500,000, 800, 8 lakh or 10 lakh in Pakistan. But so why a ceiling? Why not 20 lakh? Again, this is a second ambition, second reason that why I should be capped by an employer. Okay, so this is the second reason. The third reason is that you are usually working in a certain area. So either you are working in marketing, you're working in supply chain, finance, whatever. So you are usually an expert in one area. And most people also graduate from MBAs either in marketing or finance. They take a path. But there is a time when you say, no, I can be overall, general leadership position. I need a general leadership position where I also look into HR, finance, marketing, and so on. So this is my third inspiration about why not entrepreneurship, which gives you a canvas which is basically all across. And the fourth dimension is how to unleash time for your personal life. So basically, once you are working in a corporate world, the employer stretches you. You may be working from 9 to 9 at times, right? So at times you don't get time for your personal life to pursue your passion and hobbies. Now, this may sound a bit, strange, but when you are an entrepreneur, you are captain of your time as well. So you can release your time intelligently to basically pursue things which you love to do, right? So now I can wake up in the morning and maybe spend an hour in my garden doing gardening, but I don't need to reach at 9 a.m., and put my thumb and make an attendance. So this is a luxury, you could say, of entrepreneurship is. This does not mean that you don't need to be disciplined. This just means that you have more flexibility to release time to pursue other things. And last thing about why entrepreneurship is that if you work and set up an organization, of course you can be an entrepreneur as a one individual as well. and you can be an entrepreneur hiring people like 4, 5, 10, 40, 400. I mean, depends how you grow. So in a way, you contribute to the society. So if you invest and if you basically hire people and if you are able to make a good organization, I think that's social contribution you make. So just to summarize, why entrepreneurship? I think there's no limit to the money you can earn. So why get limited? Bigger canvas, general leadership. So not just only marketing or finance. And fourth point was you can pursue your passion and hobbies because you release time. And last point is a social contribution. So this is basically, I would say, why entrepreneurship for me. It may not be same for you, but I think some of the points may be inspirational for you to consider entrepreneurship. Okay, moving to the next aspect is the journey and the learning. I would summarize the learning, how you basically, how to summarize entrepreneurship journey is like a roller coaster. You are having fun, but it's scary. So that's very that's the mindset. So you select to go into a roller coaster and you select to have fun, but yes, it's scary. So that's the journey. It's very scary at times, scary because maybe financially it's a pressure. In Pakistan, especially, you have a lot of issues in terms of, the taxation and the regulation. So you may feel uncomfortable. Even you have issues with people, employee aspect, talent. But this journey is fun. And that's the mindset you need to take. It's just like a computer game you play. If you play a fun app game, right, and you are basically having a lot of barriers coming in and you are trying to, maneuver and go forward, the mindset is not to stop. There are a lot of speed breakers, but who stops at a speed breaker? I mean, you slow the speed and you move on. So first thing is that in this journey, this is like many multiple speed breakers, many problems. You wake up, there are so many things to solve. So the mindset is problem solving. The mindset is not said, oh, I have a problem, I have a financial issue, the employee left, the order has an issue. These are all things to be solved. And I mean, from the start of the day till the end, the whole journey is to solve and keep the mindset positive of a problem solver. And this is, I think, fundamental. If you don't develop this mindset, or if you have a mindset to take things a lot on yourself, then probably entrepreneurship might be not be your area, because you would feel a lot of stress and you might not be able to, you need to be resilient. You need to be resilient to keep on going. Okay. Another aspect is that, especially when you talk about entrepreneurship in Pakistan, my journey and my learning is that you have to be present. You cannot remotely handle. So I cannot sit and say, X person do this, do that. And I need to have an eye in terms of what really goes on. So that is what I call leadership by presence. So if you wish to pursue entrepreneurship, then please have this aspect very clear in your mind. Unless you're an investor, look how the investor works. Investor has money, investor puts money, and few people or a lot of people work for them. Are you an investor or you are an entrepreneur? I mean, the version I have for the entrepreneurship is that you need to be part and parcel of the whole thing. You have to be in the game. You cannot be just sitting outside and just, oh, I'm managing people, I'm doing, no. You have to be there. And and it's also important because you set example. You set an example. So if you are not there, you can't set an example. People will not basically follow things yourself. Don't expect people to do things unless you do yourself. Okay. Um, Apart from that, my journey, my learning is that one of the things which you need is network. You need a network. You need people and that network you need to activate. That network you can gather over several years of experience. Some people might think that today they graduate from IBA and tomorrow they start the business. Fine. I don't say no, this is a bad route to take. I fully endorse this is okay. But my suggestion to you is that once you step into entrepreneurship, you will bring all your knowledge and expertise, and you will then start your own organization. Now, if you are fresh out of academics and you start an organization, you have never worked with people, you don't know how office politics work, you don't know how hierarchies work, you don't have any exposure of how reward system work, you don't have exposure of how dealing with conflict and so on. So now you are basically a very much, you're not matured to run an organization. This does not mean that you cannot start entrepreneurship, but uh, my learning is that if you are coming with a good baggage of experience, and then you leverage that network, that will help you. Another thing which is important is that you pick up different kind of skills, different types of, you could say, management skills. So it's not possible if you have not worked in organizations and different organizations. So my suggestion to you is that some people join organization and they keep working for 10 years, 20 years, right? So that is basically okay, but don't make your corporate experience 1 year multiplied by 20 times. Make it 10 organization. So people think, oh, suddenly you start something. No, nothing is suddenly. So what you need to do is you need to prepare some kind of timeline, a very rough timeline. And once you have filtered 4 or 5 ideas, you should talk with people and you should understand whether this is basically going to work for you and can be a sustainable business. And then my suggestion to you is start small and scale it as you move on. So this is basically one of the key learnings. And then uh, another learning, because I've jotted the points, so I'm just having a look at my mobile to to take if there's anything missing, is that you need to keep the context of Pakistani environment and Pakistani market in mind. This market is tough. This market is tough for entrepreneurship. So you need to be mentally tough to pursue your passion. Or even if it's not your passion and you want to run an organization, you want to start as an entrepreneur, be mentally tough and be mentally prepared for it. Okay. And another learning is that your educational institutes are not preparing students for entrepreneurship. One course is not enough. Entrepreneurship should be weaved into every course you learn, whether it's a business school or you are basically, I'm talking in general. The education is not taking us to that level where you can be entrepreneur. Don't think that one course of entrepreneurship can solve everything. Sadly, this is going to give you exposure, but you need to have more understanding of entrepreneurship before you step in. So seek learning. If you wish to have an entrepreneurship as a career, try to talk to your teachers, to learn from everyone that how this can be applied if you are running your own setup. Everyone can apply a good brand management and marketing skill to Unilever, but everyone does not go into Unilever. So you need to take the learning and apply from the entrepreneurship concept. Okay, another aspect is that when you start, one of the learning is, because I'm on the same point of learning, is when you start a business, you always think of P&L, profit and loss, and you think, okay, today I will sell 10, tomorrow I will sell 20, after 2 months I'll be selling 100 units. This is not how entrepreneurship works. Yes, if all goes well, it can be that from 10 to 100 and 100 to 1 million, but be prepared. The journey of my learning is that the journey is, rocky. So it's basically up and down, and it may not be as you planned financially. So financial aspect is very critical when it comes to entrepreneurship. When I graduated from IB and I look back, I thought that I had ideas, but I didn't had money. Now I think I have money, but basically it's not about just money. Sometimes we think that without money you cannot do entrepreneurship. If you take US market, if you take European markets, people have access to money. People are ready to invest in you. If you have good idea, if you have passion, if you are willing to take the route of entrepreneurship. So I would suggest that you always basically keep the financial aspect important. But I also give you another viewpoint that financial is not the only thing. Things don't run by financials. Things run by selling things. Things run by ideas. If you have a great idea, if you have a good business model, you are able to sell, money will flow in, right? So this is an important aspect which you keep in mind. Another aspect is that motivation. So you have to motivate yourself. Nobody will come and basically give you motivation. When we work in corporate world, your boss will come to you, you have a problem, okay, we solve this, and a lot of talk and so on. If you're an entrepreneur, you have to motivate yourself because nobody else knows the problems. And how the entrepreneur sees the problem, nobody else will feel the same pain. So remember, if you're an entrepreneur, if you are leading an organization, even if it's 2 people or 5 people or 10 people, you are the person who is basically going to solve the things in a way nobody else will. So take charge of the problems, take charge of the organizational problems. For example, I sometimes feel that as an entrepreneur, you become very operational. So the person, for example, if the lock is not working, that's also my problem. If the gas issue is there, it's also my problem. If the oven is not working, it's also my problem. So unless you take the problems to yourself, you will never be able to solve them. You're not solving for yourself, you're solving for your employees. So that kind of ownership I don't see much in terms of corporate world. But if you want to start an entrepreneurship as career, you need to be a problem solver. Okay, moving on. Uh, Future of entrepreneurship in general in Pakistani context. As I shared with you, in Pakistani context, the environment is not very supportive. So you need to have a very resilient mind and very, you could say, passion for what you do. Otherwise, you would struggle. But having said that, there are definitely opportunities, and it's up to you. There are many things which have not been started in Pakistan. Imagine now everyone is going online, right? Online grocery, online everything. You are a business graduate, you ask yourself, is this something new? No, this has been there for many years. Now everyone says, oh wow, online grocery, you can sit at home and you can go to the website and order something. Somebody somewhere is already doing it. So please try to increase your exposure. Many of the ideas and opportunities are outside happening, if not in Pakistan, abroad. Try to explore that. It is not necessarily necessary that the idea which you wish to pursue is your only thing you have thought. There may be something which you can transplant. Go to franchise.com, for example, and see all the businesses which are available for franchise. Maybe you get an idea that, wow, why not do this in Pakistan? So remember, Pakistan offers you a huge access to the market. It's an ideal opportunity, but do you have the ideas? Do you have the ideas? And then as a business graduate, I'm sure you can plan out a business model and you can structure your thought, and you should also have a mentor. My suggestion to you, if you wish to pursue entrepreneurship, don't invent the wheel. Talk to someone, share your idea, take help. That person does not need to come to work with you. You will work. You are the pilot. You will run the ship. You are the captain. But no harm to speak to someone. I think one of the things is that if you have somebody you can share, you can discuss, it will only help you and maybe save you from many losses and many wrong turns. So this is another suggestion to you. One of the things when we talk about Pakistan, sadly, the small and medium industry role I don't see anything. When I started my pastry shop and my bakery business, I think I struggled to get information and coaching and mentoring. So if you go to the website, you have old plans. There are free files, but what will I do if something is outdated? So one thing I highlighted is that in Pakistan you have a lot of challenges when it comes to taxes and regulations. If you're a small entrepreneur, the other challenge is that you don't have coaching and the right environment. It's like incubation. I see a lot of this happening for IT firms, but everyone passion is not IT. I mean, I'm not a tech guy, so I will not start an IT firm. But is this the only thing entrepreneurs do? I think this is something which is lacking. There has to be some kind of incubation area, to for entrepreneurs to grow, and that I'm sure IB and other institutions are trying to do, but should not be just limited to IT. Uh, okay, another thing which I would like to share, because just only 5 minutes are left, is that try out, try to fail. So people say try to succeed. I say try to fail. Go out and try small. And entrepreneur does not mean that you are running a big manufacturing organization. Entrepreneurship is partially a mindset. You can even start a small business at home of a consulting. That's also entrepreneurship. But this whole idea that you can earn for yourself and you can basically be an employer, self-employed, is what you need to be comfortable with. You may work in corporate world, and in side by side you can also start multiple entrepreneurial ventures. So open up your mind. This slight stigma attached to us, or I would say prestige attached to the corporate world. If you are not working in a corporate world, people say, "Oh, really? You don't work anywhere?" I work for myself. So this is still socially not taken so positively, sadly. So don't worry. As I said, you have to have a tough mind if you wish to start. So quickly, I will run through the last few points. So start small and experiment so that you don't lose time. And then after in 3-4 years, your idea may mature into something. Another thing is don't wait so long for idea to start. Everyone is not Mr. KFC, that at 60 or 70, you start something and wow, you succeed. I think I think people lose that energy, that motivation, and that is very important that you start when you are young. Young means 30, 40, you start and you try. Also, after a certain age, your ability to make financial uh, ability to make money diminishes. So if I say after 55, I will get a good job at Unilever, it's not easy. They may say, sorry, sir, you are over age and we can't hire you, right? And especially with the COVID and so on, you need to understand that there is a right time to do everything, right? So don't be so late, because after a certain period, your life commitments and other things may become a burden on you. And you may say, no, 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 yeah, I cannot take this hassle. I don't have the energy or money and so on. So don't start your entrepreneurship journey very late. Start small. First think of your passion, what you like, and within 4 or 5 ideas, passion, try to filter few and try to start small and talk to somebody, take some help, and then try to mature your idea. And lastly, uh, I would also stress on one more thing, is that whatever you do, whatever idea you pursue, try to have some knowledge of it. Try to have some background of it. Don't just jump in, because people will make a fool out of you. And this is very important, that you basically don't lose a lot of time falling. I am all for falling, I'm all for failing, but then you can't just fail for 5 years, right? So fail fast and try to get on track. So I hope I've covered in this short time few things which you can take forward. there are some
थैंक यू
questions
सलमान साहब,
also.
थैंक यू सो मच। और मेरा ख्याल है कि जो लोग हमारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स इफेक्चुएशन थ्योरी के बारे में जानते हैं वो यही कहेंगे कि जो आपने पॉइंट्स अभी बताए हैं वो सेम वही हैं जो डॉक्टर शाहिद साहब ने इफेक्चुएशन थ्योरी में पढ़ाए थे। और ये 2-3 लोगों ने सवाल पूछे हुए हैं चैट बॉक्स में, अगर आप मुनासिब समझें तो इनका जवाब अगर देना चाहें।
Okay, very quickly, how we start
फरहान
new.
फरहान अंसारी ने पूछा था।
Okay, how we start a new business without knowing basic knowledge. So this is what I have shared with you, that don't just start blank. You should spend some time understanding, and yeah, now on YouTube you can find so much information. So I think your best friend is Google. Go out and Google. You Google and you will find some answers. It will help you. Second question is how a salaried person may get transition to follow entrepreneurship. Look, if you are a salaried person and you don't have a passion and you don't have something for which you can leave a salaried job, you can never walk out of that shelter. So if you have a desire, a burning desire, a passion, and you spot an opportunity, then I think you have a good chance to leave a good settled career and start entrepreneurship. Um, but I would suggest that keep playing with few ideas, talk to few people before you jump into entrepreneurship. Then the question is there should be some incubators for entrepreneurs so that they come across with some experts and polishes. I think this is a valid point, and probably IB and some other organizations are now doing that job. I wish it's more so people can benefit. I think practical point. How is your business coping with COVID? Any pointers for those struggling in these times? Okay, so basically, business is hitting a moving target. So when COVID has happened, we stopped the business, and sadly, we were under the lockdown area, so we stopped it. But probably we are one of the few organizations, although we are very small, if you go to my shop, that we have changed the structure of the shop. So we have made a structure which has a barrier like when you go to a bank. So when you go to a bank, there's a glass barrier. So the person sitting is already 2-3 feet inside, so there is no such issue with the social distancing gets automatically implemented, because in Pakistan things don't get implemented. This is the challenge. आप सोचते कुछ है, होता कुछ है, ठीक है? और आपको अपने एम्प्लॉयज को भी बचाना है और आपने अपने कस्टमर को भी बचाना है, ठीक है? तो इसलिए वी आर वन ऑफ द फ्यू कंपनीज हु मेड अ स्ट्रक्चरल चेंज, not only just word change. We hang this poster, wear mask and so on, but we know people will not wear mask. So what we can do is we can keep the mask, but what we did, we put a wall, a mirror, a glass wall, so that people automatically stay away from my staff. So that's one of the things we did. Another thing is that we stopped the shop. Then we thought, how should we cope with it? So we started taking orders through phone and started delivering directly from kitchen. So the front end we closed, but we still continued with ordering, serving the customers with the whole thing. So my suggestion to you is, if some block comes, again the speed breaker example, the speed breaker does not mean it's a wall. COVID does not mean that all businesses will stop. It's a very big speed breaker, but you need to go around it. Okay, very quickly, other question, how can you sign without money? Is it related to your
ये
skills?
लास्ट क्वेश्चन के बाद हम नेक्स्ट स्पीकर हमारे ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं तो
Okay, okay, so basically, the last question I've already sort of answered that. Look, financial is one part, and also financial depends on what type of business you wish to do. You can be an entrepreneur selling domains. Domains like www.greeno.com. 20 years back, if you would have bought, if we would have bought 10, 20 domains, we would have been multimillionaires. So as you can be entrepreneur a very small scale, and you can be entrepreneur having a factory of 500 people. So when you think of entrepreneurship, think small. Don't need to think something so big that you say, oh yaar, ab ye 2 crore रुपए कहाँ से लाऊंगा, मुझे एक फैक्ट्री लगानी है. यार आपको किसने कहा है कि आप एक फैक्ट्री लगाएं 500 लोगों की? मतलब this is the flexibility you have, which people sometimes ignore. They try to compare the corporate world with the entrepreneurship, and they try to then overlook the flexibility you have as an entrepreneur.